Good morning, and welcome back for Tuesday training. As always, we're here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. doing our best to bring you some actionable content, some stuff that you can actually put in your business, start making a little more cheddar today, start helping more people today. That's what the theme of the show always is. Take action now. So we're trying to get you stuff that you can actually use and take action now on. So hope you guys are doing fantastic. I am feeling great. Got my water. Got me a little oolong tea here. I'm no longer drinking coffee. I know it says coffee, but we're off the coffee, right? We're drinking tea. So we got some oolong here. Very, very good stuff. So I hope you guys are doing fantastic. As always, I do have a wee bit of news for you today. Check this out. As always, I like to point out fraud. You know that about me. And here we go. Healthcare provider to pay the largest Medicare fraud settlement in Maine history. Federal prosecutors say that Martins Point Healthcare will pay nearly $22.5 million to resolve allegations of submitted inaccurate codes for its Medicare Advantage plan enrollees to increase its Medicare reimbursements. Right, so pretty simple. Basically, this says that they were using incorrect codes when they're billing to these Medicare Advantage carriers. They're sending incorrect codes that pay them more for certain diagnoses, treatments, labs, whatever it might be. That's been a big point of contention in the Medicare Advantage space. There are professionals that argue it's a major problem. There are professionals that argue that it's specifically purposeful fraud. And some say, well, it's just, it's these providers still learning the Medicare Advantage space. Maybe they're not doing it on purpose, but regardless, it's happening and it's costing Medicare a lot of money. And Martins Point Healthcare is having to pay $22.5 million. It says this is the largest Medicare fraud settlement in the state history of Maine. And then it says today sends a clear message to the Medicare Advantage community that the United States will take appropriate action against those who knowingly submit inflated claims for reimbursements. Whew, there we go. So moving along, we got some more stuff here. Check this one out. And I have to admit, personally, I find this one a little ironic, but the Biden and Harris administration are announcing a new Medicare dementia care model. Just let that one sit for a minute. But anyway, announced Monday that they'll be testing a new voluntary care model for people living with dementia and their unpaid caretakers. So as you scroll through here, they're creating something called the GUIDE model, Guiding an Improved Dementia Experience model. So it's basically an alternative payment model, right, for participants who provide services for people with dementia. In the GUIDE care model, participating providers will establish dementia care programs through which they will assign people with dementia and their caregivers to care navigators who will help them in accessing services and support. Unpaid caregivers would also be connected with training programs and education on best practices. It goes on to say that the Medicare Part B enrolled providers who are able to bill Medicare, the Medicare physician fee schedule, and agree to the requirements of the GUIDE model, well, they're eligible to apply. Suppliers of durable medical equipment and lab equipment are excluded from eligibility. It goes on a little further to say that they will accept letters of interest for people that want to get involved in the GUIDE model, these different caretakers and providers, until September 15th. And they're going to test out that alternative payment model again, hopefully to provide better care for people that have dementia. So moving along, we got a little bit more. This one could affect some of your Medicare beneficiaries. 600,000 Medicare beneficiaries' data was accessed in a breach. The personal information of 612,000 Medicare beneficiaries were accessed in a sweeping data breach that affected what could be hundreds of organizations, including the government contractor Maximus Federal Services. CMS announced in a press release on Friday that it is notifying people affected by the data breach, which could have affected information including beneficiaries' names, social security numbers, medical histories, diagnosis, and other personal details. No CMS or Human Health Services have been affected. It's mainly that contractor and a few other organizations, but pretty big one. As a matter of fact, it goes on further to say that the Maximus determined that at least 8 to 11 million people were affected by the data breach, including those 612,000 1,000 Medicare beneficiaries. So might be a good time to update some of your passwords. Just saying, it's unfortunate this happens. It seems like this happens every year now from the nefarious characters that are trying to hack in and get data. So there's another one that popped. So if you have any of your clients that may have been affected, they could be getting notified from Medicare. But nonetheless, it might be a good time, like I said, to update some of your passwords out there. Moving along, we got one more for you real quick. And this just in, CMS releases the 2024 projected Medicare Part D premium and bid information. So this just came out last night. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services released calendar year 2024 Medicare Part D premium and bid information. This annual release provides information to Part D plan sponsors to finalize their offerings and individuals understand overall Part D and premium trends ahead of Medicare enrollment. Basically, the Part D premium, the average total Part D premium, is expected to decrease from $56.49 to $55.50. Big deal, it's going to drop about $1. That's the average total premium. Or actually, it's 1.8% from $56.49 down to $55.50. Now, there's some other people out there that are going to tell you that Part D premiums are actually expected to go up in 2025. And that's because of the Inflation Reduction Act, some of the cost caps that it's putting on these Part D plans. They're going to have to make up for it somewhere. Where are they going to make up for it? If they can't charge you for the drug, well, then they're going to charge you for a premium on the plan. So I heard it from a very good source. I won't say who because I just don't want to out anybody, but I heard it from a very reliable source, a specific carrier source that's big in the PDP market, the Part D market. And they said that they expect premiums to double in 2025. So while the average total premium might be going down this year, premiums are likely going up, and especially in 2025. So I posted this article in our Facebook group. If you want to dive into it a little more, it goes through the history of the premium increases across Part D, explains some of the background on that, the base beneficiary premium versus supplemental premiums, etc. But according to this, the average premium is going down. But I would buckle your seatbelts because in 2025, I have it on good authority that we're likely going to see carriers doubling or very close to doubling their Part D premium. So with all of that said, without further ado, we've got an outstanding guest today. And wow, look at the comments, man. Appreciate you guys with all the comments. Thank you all so much. When I'm sharing screens, I can't quite see them yet. So I'll pop them up here when I can. But without further ado, we have a really great guest today. It's a good buddy of mine that I've gotten to know and spend time with. His knowledge of the insurance industry is extremely vast. Like he's one of those guys that was my counterpart for many years, right? Never knew him, just knew him virtually, knew we were out there kind of as quote unquote competitors working in the wholesale space. Him in Arizona, me in Texas, but we were both working coast to coast like butter and toast. And then over the last few years, I've met him in person, gotten to know him, and we've even partnered on some things. He's one of the partners that works with us on Alianza de Agentes Latinos, which throws the Invictus Conference, which, in case you missed it, is the very first ever Spanish language insurance conference open to the public. And we'll be announcing round 2 of that here pretty soon. But let's bring him on. Man, we're going to talk to this dude about some artificial intelligence. How do we use it? Why do we use it? What are some of the best practices involved? And more importantly, how we become a great prompt engineer. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, Tony? Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely, man. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's a little earlier on my side of the world here, but it's still a good morning. So I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Fierro, it's always good to have you. For those of you who don't know, Eric's out in Arizona, so he is up a little earlier than the average bear. And just as Joe Campert says, Eric Fierro is a freaking legend. So real quick, I know a big part of our audience knows who you are, but if you won't mind, just take a short moment to introduce yourself, let them know who you are and kind of what you're up to these days.
Yeah. So, as Tony mentioned earlier, I started my career in selling Medicare Advantage plans in a dual eligible market. One of the reasons that I got into it is because I'm bilingual. So I was able to go run Spanish appointments, and I actually ended up having a lot of fun doing that. So as I was in that market, my friend who got me into the business, he actually asked, "Hey, you want to join us on the marketing side?" and start recruiting insurance agents and training them on what you're doing and showing them like the different products that we have. And I just thought, man, this is a great opportunity to work with my best friend. And I said, sure, man, sign me up. So for the next 12 years, I would be focusing on helping to recruit insurance agents across the country, get them trained up, selling the different products that we offer, selling Medicare. For a lot of them, there was a lot of agents who were brand new to the industry that I got to train up and get them up and running, and many of them who got to six figures. So it was a heck of a ride. I really, really enjoyed that side of the business. But as fate would have it, a company that I was working for ended up was getting purchased by Integrity. And when that happened, I had an opportunity to either join Integrity, or if I wanted to go off on my own, I could do that. So I decided I wanted to go try my hand at, going and starting something new. And around that same time, my good old buddy who got me in the business the first time came back and said, "Hey, we're looking to build up some call centers around the country. Would you want to partner up and do that?" So we partnered up and basically put together a call center out here in Chandler, Arizona. Did that for 3 years. And when COVID hit, COVID actually led to my current venture, which is in the software world. One of the things that I had been doing before leaving the broker world was that I noticed there was a big gap in need for training. And so I had created an online training platform that I was offering to insurance agents that they could go on and learn all about how to get into the business, how to learn about the products, learn about how to sell the products, learn about how to market the products. And in 2020, when COVID hit and everybody was freaking out who were face-to-face agents, they were like, I don't know how to sell over the phone. I don't know what I'm going to do to feed my family. So I basically said, hey guys, I got a great platform. And back then we were all using the phrase, we're all in this together. I don't know if you remember that, Tony. We're all in this together.
All too well.
So basically I said, hey, we're all in this together. And listen, what I want to do, I want to make sure everybody can feed their family. So I basically said, I'm going to give you access to my entire sales university for free for 60 days to learn how to sell over the phone. Go through the modules, go through the stuff. It walks you step by step. And then on top of that, I'm going to give you access to a system that allows you to track leads, do some automations, and all the good stuff that we have going on today. So that kind of kicked off my current venture that I do with the DFY CRM and the Senior Sales University. So that's really where I'm at today. My biggest focus is I love to figure out different ways that we can utilize our system to help our clients, to help our business, to help our retention, to help also lead nurturing. But on top of that, whatever we're doing in our agency, I like to also figure out, well, now I want to teach this to independent agents so that they can level the playing field against those Fortune 500 companies, because essentially that's what we're doing. We're putting the technology that Fortune 500 companies have in your hands so that you can go out there, compete, and basically continue to build your business and retain your business, which again is a huge factor in what we're doing.
Absolutely. And I use your DFY platform. I've obviously looked at some of the modules in your Senior Sales University as well. All great tools. I appreciate the fact that you make that stuff available and you do a very, very good job of it. But we're here to talk to you about one specific element, artificial intelligence, right? Kind of what it takes to use artificial, why you should use it, right? How you should be using it, maybe some of the best practices. And you said it best. As I remember when we were at, I think it was the Six Figure Medicare Summit, when you were giving a talk on artificial intelligence and using Chat GPT and so forth, you said that agents need to learn to they have a new title that they have to put. They're already a Medicare advisor, sales rep, Medicare counselor, whatever you want to call it, but now they have to add one more title to their list, and that's a prompt engineer.
Yeah.
And it's true, because somebody else said, and I don't know who said this exactly, but they said, look, AI is not going to replace you, but people that use AI will replace you. So
yes.
Again, we got to learn to be a good prompt engineer. Why don't you just dive into that a little bit?
Sure. And just for the people who are watching who are maybe haven't really messed around with AI much yet, the biggest thing that I would want to implore is that there's normally a couple of camps. There's going to be people who are afraid of AI. They're afraid of the potential of them losing their jobs to AI. They're afraid that AI is going to turn into Terminator 2 and take over the world. And I get that, right? Because you can go down some crazy rabbit holes if you're online. But the other side of the token is that you can take the approach of, you know what, this is going to be the most groundbreaking and most influential and most powerful tool that we have seen in our generation. And I need to understand how to harness this power to my benefit.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're trying to teach out there is like, guys, you have no clue what's at your fingertips to help you truly. Like, I know it gets says a lot, this whole term, take you to the next level. I use it a lot, but it's because the things that we're teaching, the tools we're providing, like it's literally meant to do that. And that's what we're trying to do here with Chat GPTs. We want to take it to the next level. And so, to be a prompt engineer, it just means that you know how to talk to AI, right? OpenAI platform is the first one that came out with the user interface for us as people, regular everyday Joes who want to go on and start using this technology, right? So they said, hey, this was November 30th, 2022. OpenAI said, we're going to give everyone access. Go sign up and you can have access to our product called Chat GPT, and you can start talking with it, asking it questions, asking it to create content for you, asking it for anything you want, and see how it responds to you. And the idea for us is we're like, wow, we get to go play with something where we can see what this natural language phenomenon is going to be all about. And we jumped in and I started playing with it right away. And I was blown away with what it would respond with when I asked questions. And so as time went on and I continued playing with it, there's obviously things that I figured out, things that I've seen online as well to help me understand how to better utilize this tool. And that's where we're at today. So I want to share a couple things with you guys so that you can do the same thing. Am I able to share my screen, Tony?
Yeah, you should be able to hit present at the bottom
All right.
and then hit screen share, and then all I have to do is add it to stream.
Okay, so let's see. I don't know which one is going to share because I have 3 monitors. Let's see.
It should allow you to pick the one that you want. There you are. Boom.
Right. So here's the Chat GPT interface. A lot of you might already be familiar with it. Some of you who aren't, I just wanted to show you how simple it truly is, and what the different things it can do. So it just looks like a Google prompt. If you look at the bottom, obviously the Google prompt is normally up here at the top, but if you look at the bottom, this is where we have our prompt for Chat GPT. And one of the things, let's just kind of start with some of the basics here. One of the things that you can do to really help you use this in a better way is to have a strategy. So one of the and I'm just going to type it out here, acting as a role.
It's a specific structure, just like building a sentence, right?
Yes.
Because it build a proper sentence that's grammatically correct. You have what? Subject, predicate, object, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember all that because I'm not an English teacher, but it reminded me of that same thing. Like there's a certain way that you want to talk to Chat GPT to get the results you're looking for.
Exactly. The more specific that you can be with Chat GPT, then the more accurate the response you're going to want. So this is just a great guide to be able to get you going on the right path. So acting as a role, create a task in a format. And so the role, what are the kind of roles that we could think of? Medicare advisor, Medicare specialist, a field underwriter for those who are doing final expense, accountant, lawyer, analyst, journalist, celebrity name. You can have a lot of fun with that. In fact, we're going to play with that a little bit in a little bit later. But celebrity name, mindset coach. There's just a bunch of different roles that you can do where if you tell it, hey, act as this kind of person, then ChatGPT will basically do its research and truly bring back responses in sounding in a way that you laid out in terms of the role, right? So if I said I want to act like a celebrity name as an example, then it will actually look at the data it can find online on that celebrity and then kind of give you that voice when it starts creating a response. It's pretty neat. You'll see that in a second. But then we got tasks, right? So we say create a task. So task can be a lot of things. So this right here, the task part, this is the part that's going to make you money, save you time, and make your life so much easier. Because when we're talking about tasks, we're talking about ad copy. There's a lot of people who are like, God, Eric, I know I got to run ads, but I just don't know what to say when it comes to the ad copy. I don't know what to type in there. I don't know what to say in my videos. Like, I'm really stuck. They have a writer's block, even though they have the vast amount of knowledge about their industry, about their niche. A lot of times putting it into words and trying to sound legit is where they're concerned. So you can actually use ChatGPT to say, hey, I want it to create ad copy, or give me SEO keywords, give me an email sequence, give me headlines, give me, write me an article, write me a blog post, write some sales copy, social media posts. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with it. So those are just some examples of tasks that you can use. And then the last part is format. Format won't always be used, because really, when you plug in acting as a role, create a task, like if I were to say, acting as Alex Hormozy, create ad copy for my Facebook ad, I guess Facebook ad maybe would be the format, but that's, a lot of times too, you could even go as far as to say, hey, create me some JavaScript code, create me some HTML, create me a table, create me, different things like that, where it can get even far more technical, and it will do it. So that's, with format being the last part, that's just kind of telling it what exactly it is you want them to create. So, that's just the starting, that's the structure. If you want to write that down, that's an important structure to have. So now I kind of want to go and just give you an example. So let's say, being that, we're mainly, I know not everybody watching, but at least Tony and I are mainly in the Medicare world. We could say acting as a Medicare advisor, I'm going to say create ad copy for my Facebook ad on the rising costs of Medicare supplements. Then you hit enter and let it do its thing. And you can see the response starts coming through pretty dang quickly. One of the cool things that it does, because when you dive deeper into Medicare or Facebook advertising, a lot of times the idea is that you want to, it's different from when you're advertising on Google, right? If you're advertising using Google AdWords and stuff like that, people are going intentionally to Google and putting in the search bar information on Medicare supplements. What's the best plan G? What is a Medicare Advantage plan? They're typing things that are intentional, and so they already have the desire to get information about that topic. When it comes to Facebook, it's different. People don't go onto Facebook necessarily to search out information. It just appears when they're scrolling, right? So they're scrolling and looking at what their buddies are up to, and then all of a sudden an advertising pops up. So the idea for us is we need to create something that interrupts the pattern of them just scrolling and looking for certain things, right? We call it a pattern interrupt. And so we need to interrupt that pattern. And one of the ways that you can do that with ad copy is that you can throw in a couple of like emojis or icons in there to help put some color in it, or to help get them to, again, it interrupts the pattern, so they stop and they want to take a quick look, a closer look at what you wrote. That's a pattern interrupt. So ChatGPT is starting to throw that in here. So as you can see, it gave me a little blurb of what we can say in our advertisement, and it puts in little emojis in there so that you can help interrupt the pattern. But as you can see, okay, so are you finding it harder to keep up with the escalating costs of Medicare supplements? Well, you're not alone. In recent years, the prices of Medicare supplements have significantly increased, making healthcare affordability a serious concern for many. And as a dedicated Medicare advisor, I understand these challenges, and I'm here to guide you through the complex landscape. Don't let your healthcare needs become a financial burden. Let me help you navigate the rising costs of Medicare supplements and find an affordable plan that meets your needs. So click here to learn more today. So as you can see, like, that's actually a well-written post. And I'll tell you, like, I personally have generated over 150,000 leads on Facebook. Okay. So I've written a lot of ad copy, stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work. And so I'm very familiar with what'll work out there. But keep in mind, what ChatGPT is doing is not coming up with this stuff out of thin air. It's already searched the web. It's already looked at all these ads out there, and it's basically formulating this context based on what it has seen out there in the world being used for advertisements. So the cool thing is that I could look at this and I said, you know what, that's awesome, right? And so I'll even tell ChatGPT, I'll say, this ad is great, but can you make it more funny to the consumer?
So you basically opened up a conversation with ChatGPT and you're just massaging that blurb.
Yes, exactly. So, and again, if you didn't like it at all, you could say, that was good, but can you rewrite one that was better? Like, can you rewrite one that
Right.
is, but again, saying better, it's too vague. It's not specific enough. That's why you want to
Right.
actually say, hey, give it more of a funny tone or a frustrated tone, an angry tone. If you tell it kind of like what kind of tone to give it, then it'll do it. So I wanted it to have more of a funny tone, and let's see what it says. Are you finding it harder to keep up with the rising cost of Medicare supplements? It's almost like they're training for the Olympics, right? It's trying to cut a joke right there. So, it said Medicare supplements are breaking records in the "Who Can Raise Prices Faster" marathon. That's kind of funny, right? So it did that. It did exactly what we said. It started making the ad more funny.
Even
With,
added more emojis.
yeah, and it threw in some more emojis. So as you can see, it's a little Olympic weightlifter trying to do a overhead press. So it's wanting to basically give you what you want, and the more specific that you can be with ChatGPT, then the better the result. There's sometimes too, even where you can say, if you ask it something, it might give you a really long response. And in those times, when it gives you a really long response, especially for ad copy, you could say, hey, this is actually excellent information, but can you shorten it? Right.
Right.
And so it'll basically then look to condense it and still give the same oomph in the message so that it still feels just as tight as it did before. Let's take a look at another cool way that we can utilize the Chat GPT, right? So now that we're done with this conversation, I'm going to go ahead and click new chat because I don't want it to keep thinking like we're continuing on from the last one. I want to start something completely new.
Right. Now, one of the cool things just to point out is your sidebar on the left keeps every chat that you've ever done with them, unless, of course, you delete them. So
Right.
if you've done one in the past, you're like, oh, shoot, I clicked new chat and I lost it. No. It actually keeps it a whole history of your stuff over there on the left.
Yes. So here, let's take a look at maybe how we can use this for a different purpose, because obviously part of what we need to do when we're trying to market is to create more ways to get in front of people.
Yep.
And once we've created that way of getting in front of more people, they're not all going to respond immediately. So one things that we want to do is say, hey, I need to stay in front of these people over the next 2 months so I can have the highest chance at possibly getting them to look to me for information. So what do I mean by that? Well, what if we create an email sequence, right? So if you have a system that allows you to build out a sequence of emails that you're sending people over the next 2 months, then this could be a great tool to help you plug in the content that you would put in those emails. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to copy the text so that I don't have to spend a bunch of time writing it out on here. So acting as a Medicare advisor, create 12 emails that I can make as a sequence, educating consumers on how Medicare works and their Medicare options. So I'm going to hit enter and watch what it does. It starts giving me a subject, and then it starts writing out the body of that subject. So as you can see, first one, it's called Welcome to Our Medicare Education Series, Decoding Medicare Basics. That's a cool title, by the way. Okay, so now subject number 2, exploring Medicare Part A. And look at that. Even the length of the emails themselves are pretty dope. And so as you can see, like there goes now unpacking Medicare Part B. So what's cool, guys, is that, for years now, I've had a sequence like this inside of my system. And this is like delivering some cool content that's very similar to what I would deliver to people through my system.
Yeah, this was
And
when you showed me this is when my eyes were open and I really understood that ChatGPT is only limited by your own imagination,
That's exactly it. I mean,
right?
there really is like so many ways that this could be used that it's unbelievable. I mean, the idea for me, and in this training specifically, I just wanted to give you guys something that you can go to and use right away. Like there's a lot more technical ways that you can use this product to help you, but for those, I just wanted to give you guys some for even those who aren't tech savvy, that you could do something like this. You could run today, log in, create your ChatGPT account, and then start playing with it. The account, by the way, is free. You can use a certain amount of it for free. And then after that, it's like 20 bucks a month for you to be able to utilize it.
Yeah,
For
it's not
me,
expensive.
yeah, that's so worth it. The cost is so worth it to be able to utilize it for these different things, right? So
And I've
it's
noticed since I started using it from the very first time, even with the paid version, I noticed, or at least I feel like and maybe it's me because I'm getting better at being a prompt engineer, is probably what it really is, but it
mm,
seems to be improving its responses. Because I remember
yeah.
when I was first asking it stuff, I'm like, well, that's pretty good, but, eh. And then now I'm able to get back some really, really trick stuff from it that's super helpful.
Yeah, one of
Um,
the things too that you'll note is that, you know, a lot of consumers started first playing with it, they had an iteration of it called ChatGPT 3.
right.
And then they came out with 3.5, which was it was a faster, it would respond faster, create content faster, but the responses weren't quite as good. So they
Right.
sacrificed quality for speed in 3.5. And then they came out with 4. And ChatGPT 4 is a whole lot
Yeah,
smarter.
it's a
Like,
lot smarter and better. I've
yeah,
rumor has it they have 5 coming out pretty soon at some point in the
yeah,
not too distant future. So they're going to be upgrading it some more. Um, I'm just out of curiosity. I want to test something with it real quick because I haven't thought about this and it'll be kind of funny if you
sure.
don't
Let me
mind.
stop generating here. Hold on. Okay.
And then we'll jump into to how we can further use this in some other ways. Ask it to write a haiku on why I should buy insurance or buying insurance through Redwood Agency Group.
Okay.
To see
So
if it's that clever.
tell me how to spell haiku.
HAIKU.
Okay. On why I should buy insurance through Redwood Insurance Group,
Agency Group.
Agency Group.
Just
And
see
I
what it
probably
does. I'm
should
just
put
kind
it
of
also.
curious.
What part of Texas is it?
Cedar Park.
Just in case it needs to go and maybe hunt for you real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Redwood's care unfolds in Cedar Park, pieces sown, insurance stronghold. That's pretty slick. So it's clever, man. It's extremely clever, this tool. And I've had a lot of fun using it. I had it write jokes for me that I could use on stage for different things. Some of them were great, some of them not so much. So like when I started learning to use it to tell it to act as a certain role, I was having some fun and I was having it write act as David Letterman and write me a top 10 list, a comedic top 10 list on the rising cost of Medicare, things like that. Some of those were pretty good. I was able to actually use them in Medicare Con, but
Yeah.
so this is one obvious level, right? This is
Yeah.
one obvious level that's phenomenal. If you're an agent that's out there and you're having trouble writing content, whether it's your blog post, Facebook post, coming up with ideas that you want to talk about in your video, because if you're an agent, you should be doing video marketing. And if you're not doing video marketing, you're missing the boat because it's killing it out there. So if you're having trouble maybe thinking like, oh, what do I want to talk about today? Just go to ChatGPT and hey, give me 10 ideas, right, on some of the finer points of Medicare. Come up with something solid. And then now you have some points that you can jump on, grab your phone and create some ad copy super, super, super fast at start generating leads. So
Yeah.
this is pretty, as awesome as this is, it's still surface level
Yeah.
from where we can go. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of and so like one of the other things that I really try to impress upon people is that um, content creation is honestly turning into probably one of the most important important pieces of our building of our agencies. You know, a lot of people still kind of rely on the old, let's buy some leads, let's learn how to write that business, let's learn how to make sales. And that's very, very important, right? Selling and having the skills of sales is incredibly important. But I believe that content creation is surpassing it in terms of importance, because so many more people are getting used to how they get information, and that's through social media channels, whether it be
Right.
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, you know, or any of the other social media platforms. Like, that is becoming quickly the way that people get used to consuming information. And YouTube, of course. I don't want to leave out YouTube. So the idea that we're going to continue to scale our businesses without creating content is going to more and more quickly become ludicrous. Because if you think about it now, even if people hear about you through an automation, or they see one ad of you on Facebook, a lot of times they're going to start going and doing some research. So if they see your company name, they might go do a search in YouTube or in social media for that, for to see if there's any more content, because now more people want to see who they're working with. If they're going to decide to use you as their insurance agent, they want a better flavor of who you are. They want to know, okay, is this cat like a good person? Is he like just a snake oil salesman? Like, is he like a silver tongued fox? Or does he genuinely care about us? Does he genuinely care about me and my needs? And you know, I could feel like he's going to be looking out for my best interest. A lot of people will try to make that judgment, whether it's good or not. It's just the truth. A lot of people will make that judgment based off of what they're seeing online. So we need to create more of an online presence for ourselves. And people are very scared of this idea because they say, for many reasons, they have insecurities about getting in front of a camera, right? The insecurities could be from, you know, from one end to the other of the spectrum, and I don't want to have to list them all, but the idea is, whether you have the insecurity or not, you're going to need to start getting more and more on camera. So then it leads you to, well, what do I say to get on camera? So there's normally a couple of different pieces to the puzzle, right? The first piece is, well, what's the topic going to be? What are we going to talk about? So for that, let's show you how we can use ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to plug in here, acting as a Medicare advisor, create 6 hooks for topics that I can create content around. Now, again, we can leave it at that, or we could have a little bit of fun. And I'm going to ask Tony, give me a celebrity name so that I can make it in the voice of. I want to put it in the voice of whatever celebrity's name that would be fun to do that in.
Dr. Seuss.
In Dr. Seuss. So,
that way it's hyper obvious of what we're doing. I mean, I could have said Gary Vaynerchuk or something like that, but let's do Dr. Seuss just so it's SEUSS.
Damn it. I had it backwards. Hey, let me just tell you guys, I'm a very successful person, but I'll tell you right off the bat that spelling is not my strong suit, okay?
And PowerPoint remotes aren't mine. It's all good.
But I definitely make up for it in other arenas. So, all right, so we plug that in. The ABCs of Medicare, how it works for you and me. So look at this. It's going to give you 6 hooks that you can build content around. And the cool thing is, once you decide, and again, you don't want to get rid, I mean, you want all 6 hooks. These are 6 different videos that you're going to be able to create. And you can make these videos short form. They could be a minute long,
solid,
you know, but read what's going on here. 1 plan, 2 plan, red plan, blue plan, picking your Medicare Advantage plan. Choosing the right plan can seem like a daunting task, but fear not, we're breaking it down with the playful help of Dr. Seuss inspired rhyme schemes. So that's, to me, that's pretty excellent. Like, again,
how the Grinch stole my prescriptions.
That's great.
Green eggs and scams.
Protecting yourself from. Holy crap, I think I want to use this myself. This is dope.
That's pretty strong.
This is dope. I want to screenshot this.
You don't need to screenshot it. It's in your ChatGPT. You'll own it.
I screenshotted it anyway.
In your history.
This is again, this is a great way to just get the ideas of what you're going to talk about. So let's say that the first subject we're going to talk about is protecting yourself from Medicare fraud. That could be the topic you want to expound on. So now you're like, all right, well, Eric, that's great. Now I got the topics, but even though I kind of know what to say, I still don't know how to kind of lay it out in the short form video format. So let's go ahead and do something cool. What we're going to do next is we're going to actually tell it to create for us a video script. So I'm going to say, create a video script about how to protect yourself from Medicare.
Couldn't you say create a video script for number 6?
You know what? You probably can, because it is a continuation, since I haven't hit new chat. So we could say, yeah, create a video script for number 6, but probably not in the voice of Dr. Seuss. So let's just say in the voice of a Medicare advisor. So here's the cool stuff. It'll tell you, look at this. It's writing it like a Hollywood script. Opening scene. A cheerful Medicare advisor is sitting in a colorful, Seuss-inspired office with whimsical drawings and models of green eggs and ham around. So I guess it still wants to continue with my green eggs and ham. Yeah. But advisor waves. Hello there, friends. Today we've got, let me just let it, it's going to keep going. So it looks like it is
phenomenal though.
Yeah. So this one does look like it's going to, because we said just to follow up on number 6, it is going to stay inspired by Dr. Seuss. So maybe what you would want to do though next time is, instead of that, you would just type out it may start a new chat and type out what I said so that it doesn't do that. But even with it doing that, the thing that we want to point out is that it created a true script. It tells you everything that you want to do, what it should look like, the voice that you should have. It's pretty phenomenal. So the idea is that nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to be left with the excuse of, I don't know how, or I can't come up with. That's gone.
Yeah.
Right? And so by watching this training, you screwed yourself, because now you got no excuses left in terms of why you're not going to do this or create content or be able to make short form videos. Like, those excuses are out the window because of this training. So sorry, guys, you screwed. So that's, again, so many different ways that we can use this. As what we went over so far: creating Facebook advertisement, creating email campaigns, creating hooks that we can utilize to get people's attention. One of the other things is, we said Dr. Seuss, but I was actually curious. I want to try creating hooks. So I'm going to go back to this here, but I just want to see what it'll do. I'm going to go new chat. And instead of in the voice of Dr. Seuss, I'm going to say Mr. Beast. Because Mr. Beast, if you guys don't know who that is, Mr. Beast is probably one of the richest content creators out there on YouTube, and one of the best at creating these hooks, right? Because a hook is really, like, a lot of times you can use the hook for what your thumbnail is going to be on your YouTube videos. And so he's amazing at that. In fact, when he teaches people how to create content and how to get uber successful at it, that just gave me another idea. But he talks heavily about making sure the hooks are dope, because that's really what it is. So I just wanted to see what it comes up with, because again, ChatGPT is going to be able to go look at the World Wide Web. It's going to be able to go look at all of the hooks that Mr. Beast uses, and then formulate some stuff based around that. So
yeah,
I just wanted to see if it came up with some good stuff. So
it definitely did. That sounds just like him.
Mr. Beast in the house. Today I've got an exclusive insider's guide to finding the perfect Medicare plan tailored to your needs. Get ready to unleash secrets to maximize your benefits. So the cool thing about the hooks, right, is that for all of us, we're so heavily consumed with content every day from a variety of different people that we need to stand out somehow, right? And so the idea with hooks is we got to catch your attention, and that's why you use cool words like this. The way you put your words together can be incredibly important to be able to capture someone's attention. And people like Mr. Beast are just amazing at doing that. So that's why, again, it's great that you can tell it to speak in the voice of any of the celebrities that we know in our world that are great at doing this, like even a Gary Vaynerchuk and Alex Hormozy, or anybody else that you could think of that's famous, right? That's totally what we try to impress upon you guys here. Let's see what else we have. I think we got video scripts. There is one cool thing. Let's see, because hold on real quick, Tony. Do you have
Sure.
anything to add in here? Because I was trying to think. I wanted to think of
Translate it to Spanish.
That's actually perfect. So I'm gonna say, this is awesome. Now, please translate into Spanish.
Bing.
ChatGPT,
Excellent Spanish. Way better than Google.
Yeah, ChatGPT knows about 95 different languages. And I actually just recently saw a story that said that like the top 7 Google AI engineers, when they left because they figured out a way to basically get the system to be able to do things like translate more correctly than what Google Translate was doing. Because in the beginning they said like Google Translate was really difficult to work with. The translations were kind of awful, and they figured out what was that?
Google Translate's still pretty poor.
Yeah. And so they figured out a way, though, that they could utilize AI to a different type of AI to be able to create better translations. And so since Google didn't want to pick that up, they started doing stuff on their own. So some of the people, there's several of them who started their own companies. Some of them joined OpenAI. And so, as a result, I just feel like you'll see the conversations, the Spanish it uses is a lot better than I've seen in other places. So that's another great benefit of the system here, is that you can do translations, and that could be like any translations for anything. So even if you just wanted to straight up use it as a translator, just put your English and say translate into Spanish, and it'll pop out a Spanish translation for you. So again, so many different ways that we can utilize this. And so the last thing I want to show today, if you don't mind, Tony, is that I'm gonna share a different screen. So
okay,
how do I unshare this one?
I just move it like that,
and then I'll say stop.
Pretty simple. You gonna show them Dunford?
Yes, sir. I just want to show you guys, like, it's still utilizing OpenAI. Okay.
Right.
And so just to kind of give you guys an idea, so OpenAI is the parent company, and OpenAI has 3 different products. They have ChatGPT, which is what we've been playing with this whole time. They have another product called Dolly, which is to help create AI images. And then they have their API side of things. And so the API side is fun because you can kind of hook into their platform to be able to use stuff like ChatGPT through API, which is one of the fun things that I want to show you now. So the idea that I'm going to show you is, what if we had an AI assistant that could help us with answering a lot of the basic questions that people ask us about Medicare or life insurance, or pretty much any niche, PNC, it doesn't matter, because ChatGPT is going to be able to, if it doesn't have any of the programmed answers that you've provided it will go and look at the web and get the information and provide an answer. And I tell people all the time that the assistant isn't designed to be a salesperson. It's not designed to make the sales for you. It's designed to be an assistant that alleviates a lot of time for you, because they can answer a lot of the basic stuff and do a really good job of doing it. And then when it's ready, they can book an appointment for you and get that appointment sent to you so that you can get on the phone and do your thing of selling. Do the deal, as Tony says. So let me prop up this video here real quick. All right, so now that I have that there, I'm going to share screen. And then okay, so the right screen should be showing now.
Boom.
All right, so I'm just going to show you guys a quick video of this, but and I'll talk while it's doing. It's only like a minute long. But the idea here is that, if somebody chimes in, that before, when it came to automations, we had to really build out the conversation pathway. So we had to design the way we ask questions and the way somebody could potentially respond, and then prepare with our own responses to their potential responses. And so designing it was pretty hefty before, and it made it more difficult because we could say, hey, either recognize keywords or if they say exactly this, respond with that. But there was a lot of times where they could ask something off topic, or they could ask something that would break the conversation flow and then kind of stall everything. And so, as cool as we could formulate certain things, the problem was always that people will always ask things that are just like left field. And then
Sure.
when they do that, it breaks the conversation flow. The idea with AI is that AI can let them go off topic for a bit and then bring them back, right? And so that's what I kind of want to demonstrate here with what you're seeing, is just that in this conversation flow, I've given OpenAI certain parameters, but I always tell them, hey, always bring them back ultimately to wanting to book an appointment. Let's give them some value, regardless of what they ask. Let's give them some value. And after we're answering these questions, we can, is there anything else we can help you with? And then they ask another thing, and we provide a good answer. And then, is there anything else? And then eventually we're going to say, okay, would you like to book an appointment to go over this or that? And then from there, we're trying to get the AI to book an appointment with them. And the idea here is that it's doing it in what we call natural language. So, because before, even with our other bot sequences that we used to design to be able to try to book an appointment, it felt robotic, right?
Yes.
And it used to also be like, here's a link.
Artificial.
Yeah, it felt artificial. So it's like, here's a link, click the link, and you can choose your date and time. Well, now we're able to do this not only through the SMS channel, but we can do this through Facebook and Instagram, through
WhatsApp,
Google My Business. WhatsApp's coming real soon.
Okay.
WhatsApp is coming real soon. And so that's going to be awesome as well. But the idea is that we can do these responses through the social media channels, so that when we hook up and integrate into the system, we hook up our Facebook and our Instagram and our Google My Business, people will chat to us through our business channels, especially if we're doing a good job of the content creation we were talking about earlier. People are going to want to watch that stuff on your business Facebook page, and they'll chime in and say, hey, I have a quick question. And the AI will respond, sure, how can I help you? What questions do you have about health or Medicare, or whatever niche it is? I keep saying health or Medicare only because that's my area of expertise, but you can use this for whatever niche you want.
Certainly.
The idea is that the AI is going to chime in, start helping, provide value, and then ultimately try to book them an appointment. That's the whole goal. Let's get them to book an appointment. So that's really what another just amazing feature and another amazing thing that you could do with AI on top of everything else. And there's always more to come. Obviously, one of the things I'm going to keep doing is keep doing more trainings on AI, because I believe that the faster that we can all harness this stuff, the better off we're going to be, right? And really, that's the name of the game. So I'm going to be around as long as I can, trying to help you guys, because that's always what I've been out to do, right? That's always been my aim, is just to help as many producers as I can in the best ways possible. So with that, my friend, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to share.
Yeah, leave that up for a second, because I just want to make sure, because you went over that pretty quick. In case any of you missed it out there, what he is showing on screen, and I would even, can you restart that video even?
Sure.
Let them watch it one, because it's only about a minute long. This, number one, this is Eric's white labeled Go High Level platform called DFY. I use it. Bunch of very solid producers using it. If you're not familiar with Go High Level, you should get familiar with it. And this is Eric's version. So what he is showing is a conversation that's happening between a client or prospect and his AI chatbot. So basically, he integrated through the API option with OpenAI ChatGPT right in there. So when they message him or when they send him a text message, ChatGPT picks up and starts creating that conversation. And like you said, it's creating it with the focus on pushing an appointment. And if you watch him go through this little thing, it takes him about a minute, and eventually, bing, an appointment pops up. So to help you understand how you can use that, I'll give you one way. And this is something that's working in our business, and we're just now in the process of integrating this in our deal with Spanish. We're running simple video ads. They're not even good ones. I'm being honest, they're not even good ones. It's just a telephone teaching a lesson on Medicare or saying something that's somewhat entertaining, I guess, or interesting. and then they click the learn more button, which sends them to our messenger account. Doesn't send them to instant forums or anything like that. It sends them right into our Facebook page messenger, and they can start asking questions. Now, as soon as they do, ChatGPT will pick up and start conversing with them and answering their questions with, again, a focus on setting an appointment. So I've learned to generate leads on Facebook using this tool for about $5 a pop, actually a little less than that. And then now we're about to ramp it up and see how cheap we can get a pre-set appointments running through that with our own artificial intelligent VA in Spanish. So that piece right there is, when you showed me that, really blew my mind. I knew it was something you had been working on. And then now that they finally got the integration up and running, like, you're killing it. So
it's exciting. And also to the point that you made earlier, that, people a lot of times will hesitate on getting started with content creation because of the phone part, right? They're just like, not the phone part, but the video part. They think that they need to somehow have more, I guess, quality video than necessary. They think they need to have some kind of fancy camera, or even somebody who's filming them and following them every day. Like, no, you don't need that. I mean, obviously, if you grow to a place where you can hire somebody to be a content person for you, that's amazing. But 99% of the time, you could just use your cell phone, pop it up, and look at yourself and talk, and kill it, right? I mean, in fact, one of the best examples of this, who's killing it, obviously, is Cody Askins. Cody Askins makes so much content just by picking up his phone and talking to his camera. Does it all the time, whether he's in his car, whether he's walking somewhere, at the gym, like, it doesn't matter. He creates content just by speaking to his phone and recording it, and it's lights out. That's the way to do it. Don't use that as an excuse that you don't have quality microphones and cameras and lighting and all that stuff. Because it's not a good excuse, to be honest.
All you need is something to say.
That's it. And now you have no trouble with that, because ChatGPT tells you exactly what to say. So it's like I said, you have such a great leg up from all the others who started in this business 18, 15 years ago. Like, when I got in the business, I didn't have any of this stuff, right? This is like so cool that you now have access to all this awesome technology to help you just go next level.
Absolutely. So real quick question down there at the bottom.
Am I able
Will
to
you be creating training for how to integrate ChatGPT with DFY CRM? I assume that's something you'll probably do in your private group, if you haven't already.
In the private group, I do. Yeah.
So if you want to explain that a little bit, your private group and then your DFY CRM, explain what that is and what you're doing there.
We obviously, as Tony mentioned, so there's a now famous platform called Go High Level that a lot of insurance agents are using, and so back in 2019, I was introduced to the platform by a couple of marketers that they're mainly were selling leads, right? That was what they did. They use the platform, they sold leads, and they got people to get the system so that they can do automations and stuff. I remember I told them this grand vision I had, and I'm just like, I want to be able to do this, and this. I want to integrate the university. I want to be able to offer it as a whole package, so that. And they're like, dude, that's not really what we're looking to do. That's not really in our wheelhouse. Like, we're really trying to market and just sell leads and stuff. So they're like, what you can do is, get a master account, and then you can start doing what you're talking about. So that's what I did. And again, I already had my university in play when I started when I started with the Go High Level platform, but I wanted to make it as turnkey as possible. That's really the idea, is that I want to take a learning curve that was normally this big and reduce it to here. I always tell people, and I'm very, very honest, you still have to invest some time learning. You can't escape that part of it unless you hire somebody who's in charge of it for you, right? Because that's what some people will do. They're so busy, but they're successful enough that they can say, I'm going to hire somebody to be my tech person, and they can focus on learning all that. And that's perfectly fine. The idea, though, is that if you invest that time in a very short period of time, it's not going to take that long, but you invest 10 hours into learning this system and how we've built it out for you, you're going to be pretty dangerous out there in utilizing this and how you can use it. So we, from there, it's like we've partnered with a lot of people in the industry that, for us, our members are like family. We want to try to help you guys as much as possible. get using the system as much as possible, make sure you have an amazing customer experience. And so that's really been our main focus with our platform. And, what sets us apart from the others that are doing similar things is that we really want to make sure that you guys are, you feel cared for, right? You're not just another number. That's not the idea for us, is you're not just another number. I'm not saying that that's what other people are doing. So don't take it that way either, guys. I'm not saying that other people do that. I'm just saying that that's, the old adage, when you look at somebody like a Salesforce as an example, that's where you're just a number when you talk about like a Salesforce. But anyway, so the DFY CRM comes with a lot of benefits along with it. Obviously, access to the university, ongoing training. We have always trying to innovate and figure out different ways that agents can use the technology and the new technology that comes up as well. Not just, stuff that exists, but there's always innovation happening, both from the GHL side and from our side as well. So that's, again, you guys get to benefit from that. At the end of the day, it's to access it is $97 a month. We don't believe in, and again, take it as it is. This is just my opinion. My opinion is you shouldn't have access to a CRM through your upline. I think that you should be in charge of your own tools. The reason I say that is because I've been in this business a lot longer than most, and I can tell you I've seen hierarchies change a lot. Okay, so the average producer does change their hierarchy quite often, whether it be because the shiny ball syndrome, whether it be because something happened with the relationship with their upline, whether it be there's many different reasons, right? It doesn't all have to be a negative reason, but the idea is that relationship changes a lot more often than you think. And so if you have access to your CRM outside of your upline, then you just continue having access to all your stuff. All your data is there. You have no interruption to your business. You just keep doing what you're doing when you move hierarchies. Right. So that's really, for us, the reason we always came out and said, hey, I don't want to contract anybody. Like I basically want to charge $97 a month. That's how you get access to everything that we're doing. You get access to me, my ongoing training, my team, our systems, the whole university,
Facebook group,
the private Facebook group. It's like, it's $97 a month. That's it. So it's an incredibly cheap investment for the return that you can get. And the idea again is just that we don't other people obviously want to say, well, hey, you can have access to a system like this for free if you contract with us, right? Right. They call those the golden handcuffs, right? So, right. That's why for me, I'm just like, there's no handcuffs needed. Like it's you pay, and that's how we have a
relationship. You own your data. I believe the same thing. Like as someone that's just like you, been in this business longer than most people and seen a lot of hierarchies change, seen agents change things. There's no reason to allow your FMO to have your data, number one, even if it's not a trust issue. Right. Even if there's not a trust issue, what you end up doing is you're making yourself so beholden to that FMO. Because now if you want to change and you decide, oh, I'm going to go over here to this hierarchy, I'm getting some better options, some better deals, and I want to move. But your current FMO has all your data and houses your CRM. That's kind of like a ball and chain or shackles, just like you said, that now I can't move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Or it's I'm uprooting my business so large. So anyway, Josh Lippincott had a quick question. Is it 97 per user, or is there a team thing, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it's 97 for the account. So if you have LOAs, you can add LOAs at no additional cost. You have assistants, you can add the assistants at no additional cost. So no, there's no per seat charge. So if you needed to add more people to the CRM, you can. And we have training in there where I tell you guys, if you do add other people, you want to obviously, depending on who you're adding, be careful of the permissions that you give them access to, what they can view, what they can edit. So you don't want them basically, like if you have an LOA insurance agent, they don't need to be messing with the automations. Like they need to just log in, see the data that's assigned to them, have the ability to make phone calls, send text messages, send emails to the CRM, and that's it. That's all they need. They don't need to have access to all the other cool features and functionalities, but obviously a system like this has a lot built into it, from the texting platform, the email platform, the funnel building platform, a website building platform, a blog building platform, calendar platform. The list goes on and on, right? And the idea is that this is trying to be like a one-stop shop for you guys so that you don't have to have many different systems to make everything work. And that's one of the beauties of where we're at today with technology, is that that's capable, that's possible. And that's, what we try to showcase all the time.
Absolutely. Well, you do a great job of it, man. I appreciate you, number one, for creating that system, right? Or tailoring it. I shouldn't say creating, but tailoring it to our needs so that when we plug in, it's not just an empty shell. It's got created workflows in there that we can immediately plug into and just update our little assets. Thank you. You do a phenomenal job with it. We're coming up. We're a little over an hour. Sorry, we're a little over time, but this has been a phenomenal webinar. We've had some great feedback. So last question, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, maybe they're interested in getting into DFY or your group or your sales training or some of that stuff, what's the best way for people to reach out to Mr. Eric Fierro?
Yeah, just it's dfycrm.com. Go to dfycrm.com and you can see a demo video there if you want. That'll go through a lot of good stuff there. It's a 20-minute demo video. So I always tell people, make sure you set aside some time because the video comes up right away. You get access to that video right away to start watching it. And then obviously from there, if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to shoot us messages because you'll get a message from us automatically anyway. You know, hey, I saw you watched our video. Have any questions? And then you can communicate through us from that channel as well. And either me or some of my assistants will be responding back to you and helping you out. You know, and I think the last part that I always want to kind of reiterate to people is that, and I've heard because I don't know, I guess these people have used this as a tactic to sell against me. But one of the things that I always try to also make sure to focus on is that, you know, we still have an agency that sells direct to consumers because it's important to continue to innovate. That's the idea, right? The only way that we can continue to innovate is if we're actually putting it into practice. So if we're putting it into practice and we see what works, we can share what works with agents and say, guys, this is what's working in our agency. Now you can go ahead and implement the same thing so that you can kick some butt, right? So that you can level up. It's kind of like what Tony was saying. Tony's like, dude, you know, because we have our agency side, like we're able to generate these $5 leads through Instant Messenger, guys. Y'all need to check this out, right? That's the idea, right? The idea is that we got to practice what we preach. And that's what a lot of other CRMs, you know, don't necessarily have. Like Salesforce, they're not in the insurance business. They're not selling insurance. They don't really know our needs, or they don't really know what we go through on a daily. That's one of the cool things about what we do is that we practice what we preach. And so, you know, we can always show you, hey, this is some of the cool stuff we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, staying with us. We know we're a little over time, but we do appreciate you always being here, always supporting. This has been an outstanding webinar. As always, these are recorded, so this will always live in the group. All you got to do is cruise to the top to the featured and the videos section. And if you want to rewatch this, boom, you got it there. And of course, it will also get pushed out to YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go subscribe. It's easy. Just push the button. Subscribe. Other than that, thanks again. Thank you, Eric. Deuces. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for Tuesday training. Have a great week.